Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is Employment Opportunities, and I'm your host, Randy Clark. And today I got a very special guest with me. This is Dr. Jonathan Douglas. He is the owner of Broadway Spinal Care. But today we're talking about something a little bit different. We're going to talk tennis today. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing good.
Let's talk tennis today, don't you?
I love talking tennis.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Now, you're not only going to help with the Sylacauga tennis team this year, but you're also going to be over the tennis program with the Parks and Rec department.
That's correct. The previous pro, Wes Coleman, had some health issues, and so he's having to wait to come back. And so we need someone to fill in and help keep the program going, because if we don't work on the program, it's not going to grow. And so we have big plans for the tennis center, and we're going to do it as an interim basis, and then hopefully we can get Wes back in there and get him rolling again.
You know, Jonathan, I can remember days, and not long ago, when you drove by the tennis courts and it was slap full. It's kind of backed off a little bit now, but we want to get that going again.
Yeah, that is our vision for it. And I remember I played at Barry, which is a school that doesn't even exist anymore, Barry High School, but we dreaded playing Sylacauga. Sylacauga was tough.
Right.
They really were. And Sylacauga was a tennis town, and that was always a tough match on our schedule. And so we want Sylacauga to grow again. Cindy Cleveland has done such a great job with that high school team and has grown that to the point we have amazing players, and we have a chance to win state this year. And so we're becoming that. But if we can get kids out there and get adults excited about it again, then we can become that tennis town again. And that's what we want to do.
Now, Sylacauga High School has a tennis team.
Correct.
But we got a lot of tennis players around Sylacauga that love to play tennis that maybe didn't go to Sylacauga High School. That's why we want to beef up the program with the Sylacauga Parks and Rec. We got beautiful tennis courts.
We have a great facility, and I know that we have people in town that want to play.
Right.
And they're coming out of the woodwork right now. I'm getting calls all the time. Hey, can I take lessons? Or hey, what are you going to do for leagues? And so we're going to try to find out who these people are, who the key people are, and then get that out in the network and just start meeting them again and get them on the courts, because people who love tennis love being on tennis courts. And if you've been away from it, you don't realize that when you step on that court, it's amazing.
Right.
And you do love it. And so we've got to get them to love that again, and then to have something that nurtures that love. And so they can, because if you go out there and sit by yourself, it can be fun. But if you've got a group and it's a different group every time, it becomes fun again.
Yes, yes. And we're going to talk about something else in just a minute, but right now let's talk tennis.
Let's do it.
You mind if I ask you a couple personal questions?
Sure.
Okay. How long have you been playing tennis?
That's kind of an interesting question. Kids can humble you, and I haven't worked around high school kids in a while. And, they're pretty blunt. So they asked me how long I've been playing, and I know that I was on a court in the late 70s with my granddad hitting some balls, and my mom. My mom was a huge influence on me hitting tennis balls. And so one of the kids was sitting there, and he said, "You've played tennis in 6 different decades." And I said, "That's not possible." And then I thought about it. I said, "That is possible." And so, yeah, I've played. The great thing about Hoover, that late 80s, early 90s, we had some amazing coaches. There was a guy named Jerry Pate and Boo Mason. And so we really had this elite program, and it was tough. And they pushed us hard. And I got to see what that looks like. And I would really like to bring some of that, because we loved it, but we also learned a lot. And we became good at tennis. And so I'd like to bring all of that back to Sylacauga and really have some good energy like that.
That kind of leads to my next question. How much did coaches really influence your love for playing tennis?
Tennis is an unusual sport because you have to learn to play tennis as a young person if you're going to be an elite player.
Right.
And so as a young person, you have to find a balance between pushing them and them loving it. Because kids will burn out and they will quit something if they feel like they're being pushed. And so I had amazing coaches that kind of found that balance. They allowed us to move to a certain level, but at the same time, we never felt like we were being burned out. And I'm going to try to find that balance, because we've got some kids that I've seen already here in town that have scholarship potential, college scholarship potential, maybe beyond. And so if we can just make it to where it's fun, because it has to be fun and they have to learn to love it. And once they learn to love it, then they can start to work at it. But you can't make them work at it before they love it or they start to hate it. It's like a chore.
Exactly.
And so I'm going to try very hard to remember all the things that my coaches did and try to bring that here.
Right. Now, I think I've seen a new fresh coat of paint up there, didn't I?
So that facility has not been painted, I don't think, in 25 years. 25 years old now. And so Steve Masters is doing a great job over Parks and Rec. So we had a discussion about this when we were talking about me taking over. The next park that they're moving to is Beth Yates. And so we're going to remove some of the shrubbery that grows in and we get leaves all over the court. They're going to plant some stuff that's more appropriate outside. We're going to paint that facility. We have already started. I've got some tennis team members that have volunteered, and we're painting the inside. We're getting the floors cleaned this week. That is going to be a brand new facility. It's going to look like a pro shop, not just like a place where we store tennis balls. It's actually going to look like a place where people can come in. We're going to have tennis balls for sale and pickleballs for sale. All the supplies that you need so that when people come, it's a real facility for tennis. And
our courts are beautiful.
The courts are beautiful, but the facility, if you don't have a beautiful facility, people don't take pride in it the same way they would if it was beautiful.
Right.
And so we've got some benches coming in, so we'll have a place to sit. We've got some artwork that's going to be coming in. We've got all kinds of things. It's going to be a very different experience to go to the tennis center, and I believe that will excite people that maybe even haven't thought about playing tennis, but hey, I like to hang around here. They bring their kids and say, you know what, I might like to take a lesson.
Right.
That would be great.
Right. Now, kind of leading to my next question, what is your vision for the future of tennis in Sylacauga? Not just with the Sylacauga tennis program, high school program, but what I'm talking about is with the Parks and Recs. In other words, a kids program, an adult program, and a senior program. What is your vision for the future?
So tennis facilities, and I'm going to model this after two different ones. In Hoover, they have a really good system, and in Gulf Shores, they have an amazing system. If you go down to Gulf Shores, they have, 30-something courts. You can't find a court a lot of the time. No. And so I've known that instructor for a long time. I'm going to go down and talk to them about what they're doing. I'm going to go up to Hoover and talk to my old coaches up there too, so I can pick their brains and find out what's working right now, because I don't know how to market this on the social media side, but we're going to figure that out. But what we need, number one, is we need a feeder system that goes into the high school. And you need to have kids playing tennis. And so kids can't show up in 9th grade and never have touched a tennis racket and become a scholarship athlete in college. It's just too much to learn in 4 years. And so we want to grab those kids that are 8 to 10 years old or younger and get them to love tennis and become that feeder system so that the schools are getting really, really good players and we know who they are. That's number one. That's going to include kids camps. That's going to include kids lessons. We already have some private lessons for kids going on. But
weekend training sessions?
We're going to have weekend training sessions. We're going to have the most fun out there, because for kids, again, it's important for them to get out and love it. Right. And that's the beginning. And so Billy Coleman, Wes's dad, is going to be doing a little bit of that, it looks like, also. And so we're kind of moving into the kid camp. That's number one. Number two thing is that we really need some adult camps. And those run really well, bringing people out, doing like a Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday morning. And I've looked all over the Southeast. There are very few camps that are double specific. And as people get older, they typically stop playing singles as much because it's harder physically and start moving into doubles. So we're going to set up some camps. And I'd like for Sylacauga to be known as a place that teaches doubles, especially mixed doubles. There's nothing out there for learning how to play mixed doubles. But double strategy is a big thing. So we're going to have that's my beginning point, is to have some double strategy camps in the spring and summer and see what we can attract. We need tournaments. These kids that are in high school have never played in a competitive environment. So they're out playing their friends, but that's very different than showing up and having somebody you've never met before and having to warm up and evaluate this person and beat someone. That's totally different. And so we're going to start getting some small tournaments together where the kids can actually have some competition, different people coming in. So all those things have to happen. Then we really would like to have a set league. Maybe there's a Thursday night or whatever, where people come out and we try to match them by different level, and we just have adults coming out and having fun, and then bring the high school kids in and let them kind of fit in there too, because you can learn a lot. I grew up playing on hard courts, but also go play with clay courts with old guys, I would call them, right? So now looking back, they were probably 70 something, but older people play a different game of tennis they hit more angles, they hit more lobs, and young people can learn a lot from that because they don't see that. But if you learn those skills, so I need to get the older players, the younger players together because they can all push each other.
I need to brush up on my tennis, Jonathan. I need to find me a singles partner. I need to find me a doubles partner. I need to find me a mixed doubles. I love tennis too, and I'm ready to get back on the courts.
Yep, and we're going to create a Facebook page, and that's happening this week. I tried last week, and I have no idea how you can set up a Facebook page. So we're working on this.
Right.
We'll figure this out, and Chloe, our assistant at Broadway Spinal Care, knows how to do it. She said she could help me. So we're going to get that. I'm going to have a list of people and numbers, people that want to play singles, because that's a very basic thing at a tennis center to have a list.
That's one of our biggest problems. We really don't. Me personally, I really don't know how to get in touch with somebody that wants to play tennis, except maybe through Facebook, and not everybody does Facebook.
No.
So,
every tennis center I've ever seen has a big list outside. If you'd like to play singles, call. If you'd like to play doubles, call. We're going to have that. It's going to be out there. But I've just got to meet these people. And anyone who knows someone or wants to contact me, please get to me and say, I've had a friend who wants to play but hasn't been playing. Whatever. Anybody you have might be the person that opens up 4 or 5 other people. And so we need a volume of people that want to get back on the courts.
Okay.
And we can start that with having a league, and they can just start playing a little bit, or they could maybe come take a lesson and kind of get the rust off and then move into a league. And so any way they want to do it.
Okay. Jonathan, have you got a phone number?
I do, and so my cell phone number is going to be the contact at the moment.
Okay.
And I still have my Washington contact, so it's 360-903-0590.
Okay.
And texting is really good. If you text, please say, this is so-and-so, I'm interested in this. Or call, doesn't matter to me. Texting is a lot easier, but I'll check the messages too. So at the moment, I'm the person who's going to be doing all the scheduling, and I'm just in the beginning stages of figuring this out. So there will be a more sophisticated situation, I imagine, going on. But right now, I'm just going to kind of handle it through my Google Calendar, and we'll go from there. I see patients Monday through Wednesday and Thursday mornings, and so for the moment, it's going to be Thursday afternoon, Saturday, Sundays that I can really do it. Some Friday afternoons too, depending on schedule. But
And also, your telephone number will be at the rec desk at Sylacauga Recreation Center.
Correct.
They're kind of turning the program over to you, but they will have your phone number down there.
They will. So if anyone calls Parks and Rec, they can get to me.
Okay.
That's correct.
Now, I want to talk about one more thing.
You got it.
Before we run out. Something that is a growing sport all over the United States. Pickleball. Let's talk pickleball for a minute.
Pickleball is on fire. Pickleball is basically a modification of something we call short court in tennis, or mini tennis. And it's a very good learning procedure. Even advanced players can learn from playing mini tennis. And basically they've just taken tennis and shortened it. There's less running, there's faster movement, faster games. Opelika has just built 21 new pickleball courts in addition to what they had, because
that tells you right there how fast it's growing.
I know it.
And we've got a couple of our courts are marked off for pickleball.
We're marked off for it. We're ready to do pickleball lessons. That's not something that really was on my mind. I was really pushing toward tennis, but I've had calls about pickleball. And so we're going to have pickleballs out there. We're going to have pickleball rackets for people to borrow and just see if they want to play. And so we can start doing pickleball lessons just the same way we do anything else. It's very similar. Okay. It really is. And one of the things I think about tennis that's kind of intimidating also is that people who haven't played, it's hard to walk on the court the first time. I can guarantee this is going to be a good experience. It's not going to be scary. Right. It's really not. And it doesn't matter if you want to be elite or you want to just have recreational kind of game. Right. You can benefit from lessons, and you can benefit from playing with others that are better than you.
You know, sometimes as we get old, we all need to exercise.
We do.
Everybody needs exercise. I don't care if you're little or if you're older. We need that. Sometimes exercising can be boring. Tennis or pickleball, neither one is boring.
And so there are tennis aerobics kind of classes also. And so I've been looking into that, because we could get a group of people and we could just have a constant movement, not necessarily working on tennis strokes themselves, but just moving while playing tennis. Right. And the other side of it is my wife, Dr. Tara, teaches Pilates. And so we're thinking with some of these camps, we might bring people in who have problems, because older people playing tennis now start to have health problems. And she's really good at finding out why you're having these issues and giving you some home exercises. So it might be that we tie in the tennis with some rehab so that people can get back on the courts and not hurt themselves.
Sign me up for tennis and pickleball right now, Jonathan.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Give us that phone number one more time.
360-903-0590.
Okay. Thank you, John, for
Thank
coming
you.
in this morning. I got one job I need to tell you about right quick. And as Publix come out with a notice yesterday, they're hiring for the Marble City Square right here in Sylacauga. They're hiring in all departments. The store number there is 1794, number 1794, and the way to apply online, and you need to apply by January the 27th. Visit apply.publix.jobs, search store number 1794. And thank you, Jonathan.
Thank
we
you.
sure appreciate the info. Let's get back on sometime and we're going to talk some more tennis.
Let's do it. Let's
And
talk.
pickleball.
Appreciate it.
See you next time.